In college football, there are quarterbacks who dominate the game. And then there was Bryce Young, a player whose journey from high school phenom to NFL struggle has left fans and analysts puzzled. This is the story of a quarterback who seemed destined for greatness, only to face the harsh realities of the professional level.
Oh girl, look at him. Oh girl, look at.
Before he became Alabama's savior, Bryce Young was rewriting the record books at Mater Dei High School, a powerhouse program that has produced NFL legends. In his senior year alone, Young threw for 4,528 yards and 58 touchdowns, earning the prestigious Gatorade Player of the Year award. His high school tape looked like a video game, impossible escapes, perfect spirals, and the kind of decision-making that made college coaches salivate. The recruiting battle for Young was intense.
Yeah.
Initially committed to USC, Young's change of heart to Alabama sent shockwaves through college football. Leaving his home was something unexpected. But Nick Saban had landed his most promising quarterback prospect ever, a 5-star recruit with a perfect rating from multiple scouting services. What happened next at Alabama would cement Young's legacy as perhaps the greatest college quarterback of his era. After learning behind Mac Jones in 2020, Young stepped into the starting role in 2021 with enormous expectations. He didn't just meet those expectations, he shattered them. The numbers were staggering: 47 touchdowns, nearly 5,000 passing yards, but the eye test was even more impressive. Young made throws that shouldn't have been possible, extended plays that should have been dead, and carried an Alabama team that, by Saban standards, was remarkably thin on talent. Against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, Young orchestrated a 97-yard game-tying drive in the final minutes.
That was a little low. Young loads, now throws late, got it complete. 22. First down tied, again on the run. This time he's going to keep it and get. Young fires near side, caught. Young throws as he goes down. Bryce Young backpedals, throws, got his man. It's looking for Brooks in the corner, got it, touch.
Against Georgia's historic defense in the SEC championship, he put up 421 yards and 3 touchdowns, making one of the nation's best defenses look ordinary. His junior year in 2022 was more of the same brilliance. Despite having lost his top receivers and playing behind an offensive line that struggled to protect him, Young's ability to elevate his teammates was unprecedented. He turned average players into stars through his precise ball placement and anticipation. So what went wrong in the NFL? The answer lies in a perfect storm of challenges.
I will wait for you.
Before entering the NFL, scouts and tons of analysts just weren't happy with the frame of Bryce Young. He is vastly undersized. At just 5'10" and 200 pounds, Young's size became a major issue in the NFL. His ability to see over the offensive line is minuscule. His ability to take hits is minuscule. His lack of elite arm strength, masked in colleges by superior timing and anticipation, became more apparent against NFL defensive backs. At this size, it's just not possible to have a cannon of an arm required to throw at the velocity that you need to throw at in the NFL. Corners and safeties can now easier get to the ball, and the receivers aren't open enough to throw those lollipop passes that a 205'10" quarterback are going to throw. Not to mention, he plays for the Panthers. This is an organization that has been in absolute chaos since Cam Newton left and since they lost the Super Bowl. The Panthers' offensive line ranks worst in the league as far as pass protection. And this is a quarterback who already can't take hits. This is a quarterback who's already undersized, and not protecting your undersized quarterback is only going to create larger problems. A mid-season coaching change created scheme instability. Being a quarterback and having your head coach be fired mid-season is probably the worst case scenario. As a quarterback, each coach implements their own scheme and their own playbook, and having to change playbooks mid-season doesn't get much harder than the NFL level. To understand two completely different offenses in the same season simultaneously is almost near impossible. Limiting receiving weapons meant defenders could focus on taking away his first read. The Panthers are already a team lacking talent. Now they're lacking a coach and a true scheme. Everything is going wrong for Bryce Young, and it's starting to look like it may not even be his fault. After these horrible left turns, unprecedented and unexpected obstacles, the mental impact started to take a toll on Bryce Young. The freedom he had at Alabama to improvise was restricted in a more rigid NFL system. This wasn't the same guy that could run around and create as a Russell Wilson did in Seattle. This is somebody who has to confine himself to the offense that doesn't even work. Constant pressure led to rushed decisions and deteriorating mechanics. The inexplicably bad offensive line the Panthers produced for Bryce Young was impossible to throw behind. Imagine expecting an undersized quarterback getting smashed by 6'5" defensive linemen because his offensive line can't protect and having to throw to the league's worst wide receiving core. This is a recipe for disaster. It's starting to look as if Bryce Young's throwing isn't the problem and it's everything else around him. The weight of being the number one pick and franchise savior seemed to affect his natural playing style. Having this level of pressure on your shoulders is a feeling not many people get to have and get to experience. And to understand that he was chosen to come in and save the entirety of the franchise is pressure inexplicable. Bryce Young had to come into one of the most disastrous franchises in NFL history and one of the worst teams in the league currently and fix them amongst fix. This is a team beyond just repair of a rookie quarterback, of a number one overall pick. This is a team that needs to revamp its scheme, get an entire new offensive line, get a new defense, get a new receiving core. This team is not just a quarterback away. They are an entire team and coaching staff away. And it's Bryce Young's number one overall pick name that is highlighting his bad play when it's not even his fault. The contrast is striking. In college, Young operated in a spread offense that maximized his vision and decision making. The Panthers scheme often asked him to make throws into cramped pockets with receivers who struggled to create separation. The bunch scheme in Charlotte just is not a scheme that fits Bryce Young. He's a quarterback that needs to have his receivers spread out in that college style offense. 2 on each side, 2 on one, 2 on the other. This is not a guy that can have the tight end and 2 receivers bunched up near the offensive line. This isn't a guy that is going to be good under the center. And this is a guy that needs to have that spread. A running back in the shotgun formation, have your tight end going across the seam, have a few receivers going deep, and a few guys coming across the middle, crossing with the tight end or the slot wide receiver. You need to create a scheme that allows Young to see the entirety of the field as he's already struggling to see over the offensive line. But here is what gives hope for the Young's future. His processing speed remains elite. This is still a quarterback that has the anticipation and football IQ that made him special. This is a quarterback that still remains of his football IQ. This is a quarterback that still has the anticipation and IQ that made him special. It still shows up in flashes. He actually has the most fourth quarter game-winning drives in the entirety of the NFL this season, and his team only has 4 wins. This is somebody that's putting a bad franchise on his back, and the holes and the bad stuff that's existing in the franchise is only just getting amplified because of Bryce Young. It's not his fault. He is just the one taking the blame for a bad franchise, for a bad team, for a bad organization. And history shows that many great quarterbacks struggled before finding their footing. Look at Baker Mayfield. He was almost blackballed from the NFL. We're watching Sam Darnold, who is revitalizing his career, especially when a team is as bad and poor as the Panthers. It is not fair to sit here and say Bryce Young is the problem when the team we all know is the worst in the league. The story of Bryce Young isn't just about physical talents or scheme fits. It's about the complex transition from college superstar to NFL quarterback. At Alabama, he was a master conductor with every instrument at his disposal. In the NFL, he's having to learn a new symphony with an orchestra still finding its rhythm. His response to adversity will define the next chapter. Will he become another cautionary tale about the college success not translating to the pros? Or will he adapt, evolve, and prove that the magic that made him Alabama's greatest quarterback can work at the highest level? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, the gap between college greatness and NFL success remains one of football's most fascinating mysteries. Hope you guys did enjoy. As always, stay tuned. Peace.